afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are here for the January 2017. That's right, 2017. The January 2017 Tabs3 virtual user group meeting presented by the fine folks at Attorney Computer Systems, featuring Mary Jo and myself, talking about, what else? Tabs. And so today, we are going to talk about the default settings and changing options. We're going to talk about options on a client and matter basis, how to set them up to default, how to set them up to change. We'll explain what the difference is in a minute. So without any further ado, I am going to press a series of magic buttons and let Mary Jo talk to you about client defaults or new matter defaults.
All right, so where I'm going to go is underneath the setup and then customization. And this is an exclusive task, so if you need to go in and make changes to these settings, everybody does need to be out of the software to do that. It will let you browse so you can see it at least, but it will not let you in here unless everybody's out, so just so you know. But under customization, we have a tab called Client Defaults. And what these settings are here is to set up when I open a new matter, what is going to be the defaults that that matter will have. Now, some features or some fields are inherited from whatever the last active matter is that you opened for that particular client. So they may be a little different, but I believe that most of these that are in here that we set for the client defaults are what we say it is going to be here. Whenever we open a brand new client, brand new matter, this is what it's going to inherit. So we can check different things. Is this going to be progress billing, release to bill, bill on demand? Those are things that we can check right off the bat, that all new clients or matters that are open are going to use one of those things. We can put in the receipt allocation by invoice, the non-billable or task-based billing clients, or whether we want to have the change discount type to be none after that statement is updated. Those are all things that can be defaults and already checked off so that every time you do it, you don't have to go into that screen and check that. I would say probably release to bill is probably, and the receipt allocation by invoice are very standard to have be the defaults. The method to apply payments when the bill or payment comes in for a client, you have the different 5 choices that you can do, and we can default all new clients to go ahead and use a different one than the default of number 1. A lot of times I'll tell clients, if you're not exactly sure what does this mean, if it's going to be oldest advance or all and then oldest advance, and we're not talking about this today, but if you want to know what those are and what that means a little bit more, if you click the yellow question mark when you're in the client screen, you can do it here too, but if you're in a client screen on that particular screen that's on, and you click the yellow question mark, there will be detailed descriptions of what all 5 of these methods to apply payments are, and you can decide what's best for the firm. And so I would come into my customization if I decide that number 1 is not what I want number 2, and I can change my settings here so that any new matter that I open up is now going to use the number 2. And what Paul's going to talk about is going to tell you how to change all your existing. So that's what we're talking about, the difference. I'm talking about new clients that are just being opened or new matters. He's going to talk about existing clients and how to change their settings to be that. We can set up the trust integration and default all new matters or clients to be detail or none or summary. We can define the statement delivery method. Are all new clients or matters going to be mail statements, or are they going to be email statements, or are they going to be both? That can be set here. Cover statement. Are they going to include a cover statement, detail summary, individual detail, or individual summary, or none? And then we can also have the combined matters also be checked as a default. Sales tax can also be set here. So if you're charging sales tax, I don't know that we have a lot of our clients that charge sales tax, but if you are, you can set down here and put in what the percentage is for for fees, expenses, or advances, and what those rates are. Now, we've only defined 1 in our test data, but you could have up to 9 different rates defined. And you can choose what the default rate is. And lastly, you can set up whether or not a client is going to be assessed a finance charge or not. So if all new matters are supposed to be charged a finance charge, and it is supposed to be, whatever percent here, and then however many days, 30 days, 15 days, whatever it is before you're going to start, and then whether or not you're going to apply the payment to the finance charge first or last, can all be defaults set up as you open cases. A lot of times I see when some of our clients are setting up new matters or clients, they're going in and they're checking these each time. And if you've done this for years, and even if you have done this for years, it's very easy to get pulled away from your desk and miss one of those check boxes that you always check. Or if somebody else happens to be filling in and open a matter or client, they may not know that you always go to this screen and you check this particular box. This is a good way to have those defaults in place so that none of those fall through the cracks, and you can make sure everybody gets the settings that they're supposed to have right from the beginning. Once you have everything saved on here how you want it, you go ahead and save those settings, and then that will push out with the next matter client that you open up. Paul?
Now, that is the next matter or client that you open up. So, for instance, if you've already got hundreds and hundreds of active matters in your system, and all of a sudden you decide you're going to start charging finance charge, you would come here and set the defaults so that your new matters that you open up would have finance charge. And keep in mind, those are only the defaults. You can change them. You can say, well, we want everybody to default to having finance charge, but this client, we're not going to charge it. So when you go to open up a new matter for them, you can say, no, not for them, but we do like it have it default that way. The problem is that if you decide midstream, and this is great if you're setting up your new system and you have Mary Jo helping you and setting these up so that every matter you open defaults to what you want. But a lot of times people come in after the fact and set these up, or they make a decision after the fact, after they've been running the system for years. They say, okay, we're going to start charging finance charge. And so they come in here and they set it. But then what about the clients that already are in the system? That's what I'm going to talk about. So let me get out of this screen and go back over to our menus. And under statement preparation is an option called Change Client Options. Now, this also is an exclusive task, I believe. Is that right, Mary Jo? She's nodding. So, yep, I'm pretty sure this is an exclusive task. So this, again, is something that you need to do when people are out of the software. She's kind of hemming and hawing over there. So be aware that it may be, okay, I'm going to hedge now, it may be an exclusive task, and you can try and go in there while people are in, but if it's not going to let you in, it'll tell you that you have to get people out. And so one of the very first things that it does is takes you to a screen. I like to call this the lawyer protection screen, okay? It takes you to a screen that says client blank through client 0 will be changed. What this means is that if you were to go in here and change a whole bunch of things and forget to take this 00 out, it won't change anything, because what this is saying is only change clients blank through 0, and there are no clients blank through 0. So this little 0.00 in here is kind of a protection for people that really shouldn't be in here to keep them from doing things they shouldn't be doing. So if you know what you're doing, you get that out of there, and then you go to these screens and say what it is that you want. Now, another thing to understand is you can say, well, I'm only going to change Ron's clients. So I'm only going to change the clients where Ron is the primary timekeeper. And so by saying 3 through 3, I can do that. Or I'm only going to change the ones where Ron is secondary or where Ron is originating. Or maybe I'm only going to change the clients that are real estate clients. Or maybe I'm only going to change the clients that have a certain billing frequency. So this first screen is your way of saying, or all the clients that were opened in a certain matters that were opened in a certain date range. This screen is your way of saying what you're going to change. And the very fact that it starts out with a 0.0 in here means that without knowing what you're doing, you're not going to change anything. Once you've decided what you want to change, and I'm going to do it for everybody, you have 4 screens, and these are a little more extensive than the defaults, okay? So the things that you find in defaults you will find here, but there's a couple extra things you can change in here. I could change all of the clients where Ron is primary timekeeper because Ron's retiring to have somebody else be primary timekeeper. Or I could change the release to bill on demand. Or I could change the finance charge from 12% to 18%. Now, what you're seeing here, and I can change any of these things. I can change rates, what types of rates are being charged. I can change rate tables. I can even change what types of final and draft templates we're using, what kind of trust integration and cover statement settings and combined matter settings we have, even beginning and ending statement notes. Now, what you're noticing here, though, is these are all like grayed out. How do we do this? Well, it's really pretty simple. You select what you want to change. Let's say we're going to change finance charge. And once you've selected it, then you make your change in the field. So you have to select what you're going to change. If something remains grayed out, it will not be touched by this routine. It's important to understand. If you accidentally select something, be careful, because you don't want to have something not grayed out if you didn't intend to change it. As long as you understand that, then you can select exactly what you want to do, hit the OK button, and it didn't change anything, probably because I didn't have any that were being charged a finance charge. Or could it be that I didn't? Nope. Here's what I did. I went to select billing frequency, but I didn't select anything. Remember, I said this is where you determine what you're changing, and this is where you determine what it is that you're going to change. So let's go back to here. Let's try it again. And I think we're going to change all 25 now. And now I can change them back by simply saying I want to change them back to 12. And I've changed them back. When you get out, it will show you a verification list of anything that was changed. It's a temporary file, though. So if you don't print it right now, it's going to go away. So if we print it, and instead of actually printing it, we view it, it'll show us exactly what we did. The first time through, we were going to change finance charge to rate 2, but we had the wrong thing selected up front, so it didn't do it. The second time, we changed finance charge to rate 2, and it changed all these matters. The third time, we changed finance charge back to number 1, because I didn't want to mess up my sample data, and we changed all these matters. So when you go and do this, it's to your advantage to at least look at, but probably save a copy to a file or to the Dropbox and dump it into your My Documents, so that later on when somebody says, what did you do? You can tell them, okay? And that's it. That's how to set your defaults so that everything going forward is set up right, and how to go in and change things for your clients and matters that already exist.
And I'm just going to add, Paul, that it's usually, I always advise my clients to only change one thing at a time. Don't go in and try to change the primary timekeeper and something else, or change two. Just change one and then come back and change something else, because you can get yourself so confused.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Just like when you forget or you have something unchecked or highlighted or open that you didn't want to change. So many times you can change something that you didn't mean to when you are trying to do too many things at once.
Exactly.
And I always just tell them, Paul, the first screen, the client screen that you're looking at, that's the who. Who am I changing? And all the other screens are the what.
The what.
So who is the very first screen, everything else is what. And that way you can keep it straight, that you're not trying to change. If you go back in there, Paul, on the, I have control. If I go in, sorry, that was just like took me away. If I go in here and I select primary timekeeper, and I'm thinking I'm going to change all the primary timekeepers of one, that's not what I'm doing.
That's not it, no.
Client is always who
That's
I'm changing. Who. Everything else is the what I'm changing.
Good point.
So yeah, just be really careful with that too.
Awesome.
But that's it.
Okay. And just in case you're wondering, next month we are going to talk about, Mary Jo's going to talk about how to customize the main tab so that you can see what you want to see. That main tab, Mary Jo, I don't have control. That main tab is that tab right here. She's going to show you all the ins and outs of how to customize that. and I'm going to talk about contacts in tabs. It's kind of an odd topic for some of our older clients that have had tabs for a while, because before version 16, there was no such thing as contacts in tabs. So some of you may have version 17 or 18 or 16 and not even know what I'm talking about, and that's what we're going to talk about it for those people. And of course, we always show at the end of our virtual user group meetings the Attorney Computer Systems website, because this is where you go, A, to find out what our topics are next time, and B, to find all sorts of interesting video content. So if we hover over videos or click on the word videos, we will get a list of all the titles, all the things we do. Now we've got kind of a catch-all, but we have 3 virtual user group meetings. You'll see descriptions of all 3 here, but we have our tabs, our Practice Master, and our World Docs. And the other live event that we have is our Coffee Pot webinars, which I give once a month on some sort of an ancillary or add-on product that adds value to tabs or Practice Master or World Docs. These live events, like the one you're at right now, the Tabs3 virtual user group meeting, if you click on it, you will, at least in about an hour or so, you'll see information on the next one, okay? And you'll see a description of what it is we'll be talking about. You'll see 2 links that are identical. They'll both take you to the same place where you can register. And once that's done, this one's currently in post-production, so it's not there yet, but once Brad, our video producer, gets done with them, the recorded versions show up here. So if you were to scroll down, you would see that we literally have 20 pages. So what is that? 20 times 5, 100 virtual user group meetings for tabs from going way, way back. We have recorded content for everything, all the live events, plus Mary Jo has her eBites video series that she films 3 of a month. These are short little 3, 4, 5-minute videos, 1 for tabs, 1 for Practice Master, 1 for World Docs. Neat little things that we can fit into that format. And we also have our longer format, Paul and Mary Jo Show, where I or Mary Jo will take a broader topic and get into great detail, take a deep dive, spending 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes talking about whatever it is we're talking about that month. So please take advantage of all this content. Feel free to browse. Feel free to use our search capabilities to find exactly what you're looking for. And we will see you next month in February at the Tabs3 Virtual User Group Meeting. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.